Thank you, Mr Acting Speaker. I rise to contribute to the debate on the Coroners, Mining and Resources Coroner Amendment Bill 2025. And Mr Acting Speaker, can I say at the outset, this particular bill means a lot to me. It means a lot to me because I made a commitment to the families of those miners who lost their lives in Queensland mines and quarries to provide answers. And it took its roots at the Moranbah Miners Memorial Service many years ago, where I witnessed firsthand the grief that these families were still going through in their quest for answers. Mr Acting Speaker, you need look no further than the case involving Bradley Hardwick, who lost his life on the 20th of February 2019 at Moranbah North. And here we are, 6 years and 8 months later, waiting for a coroner's inquest. And that's not good enough. And that question, when are our fallen coal miners and their families going to get justice, gets answered today. I find it symbolic that we debate this bill on the 50th anniversary of the Kayanga No. 1 mine disaster. And as a result of that disaster, we saw improved safety regulations for a range of activities. And those improved safety regulations were born from the Warden's inquiry in Rockhampton between November the 10th and November the 24th, way back in 1975. The role of the Mining and Resources Coroner is based on one of the responsibilities of the Mining Warden, and that is to undertake mandatory coronial investigations and inquests into all accidental mining-related deaths, which will include deaths that occur on mines, coal mines and quarries, as well as particular sites where petroleum and gas works are carried out. The role of the Mining and Resources Coroner is strikingly similar to that of the Mining Warden because the Mining Warden system worked. And you don't have to take my word for it. A paper presented at the 2006 Queensland Mining Industry Health and Safety Conference in Townsville described the advances in safety resulting from the Mining Warden's Court as too numerous to mention. And in a media statement dated the 11th of May 2020, Labor's own Minister for Natural Resources Mines referred to Mining Warden's inquiries as recommending, and I quote, safety measures that still protect mine workers today and that have no doubt prevented further incidents and saved lives over the past 2 decades. And it was some 3 months later that Labor knew the Board of Inquiry into the incident at Grosvenor Mine was flawed. They knew because in the interim report, Labor was asked to amend legislation to ensure, and I quote, that whilst a witness's right to claim privilege against self-incrimination is maintained, the board also has the power to compel the witness to provide all relevant evidence in public at the inquiry. But what did Labor's minister actually do? Well, Mr Acting Speaker, he did nothing. Despite repeated requests for an explanation, those opposite failed to address a direct request from Terry Martin SC that was made to get to the truth of what happened. Labor's failure to compel witnesses went even further. Mr Acting Speaker, the parents of Gareth Dudunsky, Phil and Michelle, spent 10 long years seeking answers. When addressing the delay in delivering his findings, Coroner Mackenzie cited a loss of important evidence as a direct consequence of the absence of the power to compel witnesses. There are some simple questions to answer. How can we provide answers to families? How can we improve safety? How can we reduce the chance of a similar incident occurring? Those questions remain unanswered when a government fails to act. Contrast that directly with the Crisafulli government's action. The Mining and Resources Coroner, appointed as both a magistrate and a coroner, can compel witnesses to answer questions under oath while also ensuring witnesses can claim privilege against self-incrimination, just as they can in any other court case. Mr Acting Speaker, I want to address some of the inaccuracies that unfortunately have been spread about the Mining and Resources Coroner. Firstly, some allege that the introduction of the Mining and Resources Coroner would prevent criminal charges being laid, and nothing could be further from the truth. As per page 1 of the committee's report, the Mining and Resources Coroner's inquiry can only begin after the finalisation of any criminal prosecution. But to ensure timeliness, the coroner may hold pre-inquest conferences while criminal proceedings are underway. The other inaccuracy that must be addressed, Mr Acting Speaker, is duplication. As per the committee's report, 27 deaths on mine sites and quarries were investigated between 2014 to 2024. But Mr Acting Speaker, only 2 of those deaths were the subject of coronial inquests. Families and resource workers deserve answers. They deserve the truth. Under the current arrangements, a coroner may conduct an inquest into a death on a mine site or quarry if it is in the public interest. This bill means that every work-related death on a mine site or quarry will be the subject of a coronial inquiry. To any member opposed to this bill, I ask a simple question. What information have we missed under the current system? How many incidents could have been prevented if every work-related death was subjected to an inquest? And most importantly, how many lives could have been saved? Sadly, we'll never know the answers to those questions, and neither will the families of those who died. Mr Acting Speaker, I want to acknowledge my contribution, the advocacy of industry stalwarts, Scott Leggett, Mark Purcell, Stuart Bacaneo and Dr Ray Parkin in the formulation of this bill. Their knowledge, commitment to mine safety and passion for ongoing health and safety improvements in the resource sector is commendable, and I know they will be relieved when this bill is passed today. I also want to place on record my appreciation for the work undertaken by Frank Winridge, Queensland's final mining warden. It was Frank who inquired into the 1994 Marra coal mine disaster that resulted in the tragic death of 11 men. Frank's report into that disaster is a comprehensive assessment of what happened and what needed to happen to prevent a similar incident. It also contains Frank's observations on the role of government when it comes to safety in the resources sector. He said that governments, and I quote, have a duty to ensure that mining is carried out in as safe a manner as possible. And more pointedly, he added that governments have no moral right to walk away when a disaster happens and decline to accept any responsibility. They are, by association and legislation, clearly involved. Mr Acting Speaker, the Christopher Lee LNP government has heeded Frank Winridge's words. This bill ensures the truth and ensures lessons are learned because that is the moral thing to do. While the Shadow Minister claims that most in the industry didn't think this was a good idea, the fact is that the Mining and Energy Union called for the Mining and Resources Coroner's role to be expanded, and the Labor members of the committee followed suit, stating in their statement of reservation that they believe the Mining and Resources Coroner must be all-encompassing of mining-related deaths. They went on to say Labor won't stand in the way because of the need for continued updates and improvements to safety measures and the systems that enforce them. This bill ensures that we establish the truth and that the truth is put on the public record, while also ensuring that, where appropriate, criminal charges can be laid in compliance with current legislation. The recommendations and findings by the Resources Coroner will have the full weight and authority of the judicial system, as it should. Mr Acting Speaker, this bill unapologetically enhances the scrutiny of the resources sector to improve safety. And at the 2021 Miners' Memorial in Moranbah, Scott Leggett summed up why this process is so crucial when it comes to safety, when he said the only way to truly say we have achieved this is when we don't add another name to the sandstone blocks before us. And if we are to learn and continue to raise the bar when it comes to mine safety in this state, then we need to be transparent. We need a system in place that delivers answers. We need a system in place that gets to the bottom of why that fatality occurred at that particular site. We need a system in place that means that any recommendations that fall out of that inquest can be acted upon, because that's how we improve mine safety in Queensland. That's how we continue to raise the bar in this state. And that's why we need to have a coroner that can give answers to families like the Hardwicks family, who are still waiting some 6 years after their loved one died at a mine site for answers, and who every year at the Moranbah Miners' Memorial ask that question, when will I know? When will I know what happened to my husband, to my father? When will we get some answers so that we can finally get some closure? And Mr Acting Speaker, this bill is long overdue. And I know those opposite have come in here tonight and have somehow making out that they're all of a sudden interested in mining safety when I've been calling for this for years, and finally we're doing something about it. It's the LNP government in Queensland who are putting mine safety first and foremost in this state.